We back online. All right. So let's pick up. Let's continue. Second Esdras, fourth chapter now. So Esdras has laid out his petition, kind of hard, came hard with it. Let's see what the Most High has in response. Chapter 4. So the second Esdras, chapter 4, verse 1, it says, "And the angel that was sent unto me, whose name was Uriel, gave me an answer." All right. So here it is that the Most High is now about to give an answer to all this that was said from Esdras. Verse 2, "And said, Thy heart hath gone too far in this world, and thinkest thou to comprehend the way of the Most High?" Right? So he said, look, so the angel is a messenger from the Most High, right? So now as he's prayed to the Lord, the Most High is now sending him an angel. This is just not like, you know, he's sleeping and he gets a vision. Now he's going to be presented with an angel who's going to communicate and talk with Esdras on a one-on-one basis. So the first thing is like, look, you don't went a little too far. Okay. You thinking you bigger than what you are in this world, that you are now on a level of the Most High. Oh, that's right. This is what we're reading, right? I'm gonna read it again. "And said, Thy heart hath gone too far in this world, and thinkest thou to comprehend the way of the Most High?" Meaning with all what you've laid out, everything that pertains to the history, and trying to break down in the detail the understanding of what happened with Adam, what happened with Abraham, what happened with David, what happened with Noah, and the fall and the rise and everything else, you think with that understanding that you now have reached the level of the Most High. Do you think you can comprehend the Most High? Right? On his level? Verse 3, "Then said I, Yeah, my Lord. And he answered me." So stop, right? So look what happened, right? He came at him like, look, this is the angel coming out like, look, you came a little too much, right? You thinking you somebody right now. You think you on the Most High level? Yeah. That's what he said. "Yeah, my Lord." I'm gonna read it again. Verse 3, "Then said I, Yeah, my Lord."
He said, "Yeah, my Lord."
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I can comprehend the way of the Most High. Yeah, right.
That's what he's saying.
Reading on in 3, it says, "And he answered me and said, I am sent to show thee 3 ways, and to set forth 3 similitudes before thee." Verse 4, "Wherefore," was like whereof, "if thou canst declare me one, I will show thee also the way that thou desirest to see, and I shall show thee from whence the wicked heart cometh." Right? So now here it is, the Most High already understanding what's going on, already gave Uriel a task to do. Right? That's the angel, right? So here it is, the Most High said, all right, go down there and give him these 3 comparisons here. See if he can break down any of them, right? And then deal with them, right? But he's doing this to bring them back down to size, right? To show you that, listen, the Most High's level of competency is on a whole different wavelength. Like, we don't even start to consider, you can't even consider the things that the Most High consider. It's like somebody, you got people who are in this world who are innovators, right? Someone who could say, like before, we just had the rotary dial phone, right? Well, the Most High put the spirit in a carnal man and go and say, look, I'm gonna make a phone where you ain't got to have the hardwire no more plugged into the wall. Right. You could just have a mobile phone, and you could do all kind of things with your phone. Right. Now, a regular old person like me or you, we ain't thinking on that level, right? I don't know about making phones and this and apps and all that. That's other people on a higher level of thinking for that specific type of skill. Right. They do that. Technology. Right. And you're all like, yo, you see what the phone is doing today? You see what the car is doing today? They could project your whole image on your windshield screen. So if you get a text message, the text message show up on your windshield. Right. You like, yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's the level of things that put us in awe, right? Or that's a wow factor to us. Right. Most High is thinking we're in a whole nother level. Okay. Right. That's like when we talk about, when you read, I think it's in Psalms, and it talks about how the earth is just hanging there in space. Like, why it ain't dropping? Like, how did that happen where the sun is there and the moon is there and the earth is here and all of them is just in a specific place?
Right.
And it's moving according to how the Most High wanted to move, right? It takes time for us as man to try to conceptualize and come up with theories about pressure and this and that. Science is, science tries to make sense of the Most High,
right.
But it doesn't encapsulate the Most High, right? It's attempt to be able to put all the stuff that the Most High has done and is doing into our own reasoning.
Right.
Well, the Most High is like, y'all ain't there yet, right? And this is going to set that tone of how to differentiate man's thinking from the Most High's thinking, right? So let's go on.
Right.
Verse 5. And I said, tell on, my Lord. Then said he unto me, go thy way, weigh me the weight of the fire, or measure me the blast of the wind, or call me again the day that is past, right? So he's like, look, go give me the weight of fire. It's like, wait, what? How do you weigh fire? What do you use to weigh fire, right? But the Most High, in his infinite wisdom, he can tell you the weight of fire. We just can't do that, right? Give me the measurement of the blast of a wind.
Oh, man.
You can get something to say how fast it's going, but the blast, I don't know how to capture that.
Right.
How do I capture the blast? Like when something comes and it go boom, and it is that force that goes through. How do I capture that? To say that this one is of this pressure, that one is of that pressure. How do I capture that? Then he says, tell me the day, or bring me back the day that is past. Right. That's what he asked Ezra to see if he can do. Right. Now, the things that he's giving Ezra as a task are things that are of this world. Right. These are things that are here. When I light the doggone thing, here's fire right here. Right. Here it is right there.
Right.
He's like, go weigh me that. This is something that's still within our realm. Wind is in our realm. The day, right now we're in the day. It's today. Yesterday, right? I had experienced certain things yesterday. So it's something that's within my realm, not something that's way out there. Like, I don't know what's going on in Saturn right now. I don't know what's going on in some other galaxies. Most of the time, I don't know that because it's not within my tangible grasp. But these things is here. Yeah, I feel the wind. I can put my hand in it. I'm going to get burned by the fire, right? I experienced yesterday. So the Lord is now giving him something that he should be able to deal with, right? It says in verse 6, then answered I and said, what man is able to do that thou shouldest ask such things of me, right? Like, so Ezra's now, he was like, in the beginning, he's like, yeah, I can comprehend the ways of the Most High. Yeah, like, yeah. So he's like, all right, if you can, answer these questions. And he realized, oh, ain't nobody ever been able to do. Why would you even ask that of me? Who can do that, right? It says in verse 7, and he said unto me, if I should ask thee how great dwellings are in the midst of the sea, or how many springs are in the beginnings of the deep, or how many springs are above the firmament, or which are the outer goings of paradise, peradventure thou wouldst say unto me, I never went down into the deep, nor as yet into hell, neither did I ever climb up into heaven, right? So now he's like, okay, I asked you these things, but then if I went a little bit further and asked you these things right here, you'll say, look, I never went there. I can't speak about things that I never really don't know about, right? That's beyond my grasp to answer those things. So Ezra, the angel Uriel now is now giving him the answer before he gives it, right? Because I gave you these three. Now, if I gave you that, you tell me this. So what he's doing now is trying to humble Ezra, right? Because he's trying to get at one objective, is trying to figure out what's going to happen with Israel, right? I'm trying to understand why we're still in captivity. When we going to get out of this captivity? Why these guys ain't been judged for what they've been doing? They wicked as all hell, but we wicked too, but our wickedness ain't like theirs. So I'm trying to understand this. but he just went a little bit too prideful and saying, yeah, I can understand the way of the Most High, right? So the Most High is like, yeah, well, let me bring you back down to size a bit, and then we'll get to the matter at hand. Verse 9, nevertheless, now have I asked thee, but only of the fire and wind, and of the day wherethrough thou hast passed, and of the things which thou canst not be separated, and yet canst thou give me no answer of them, right? So he's like, look, I could have asked you of those things, you wouldn't have been able to do it. But the things that you have been dealing with, you still can't answer me, right? It says, he said, moreover unto me, thine own things and such are as are grown up with thee, canst thou not know? How should thy vessel then be able to comprehend the way of the highest, and the world being now outwardly corrupted, to understand the corruption that is in sight? Right? So these things that you can deal with, you can't. So how should you be able to comprehend the way of the Most High, where you can't go down into the deep? You can't weigh the fire. You can't do these things, but the Most High can do them, but you can comprehend him? You can comprehend on his level? Nah. You shouldn't think that way. And prideful man in its wickedness and in his wickedness does that, right? Esau and some of the other nations do that on a high level. That's why they usually try to debunk the Bible, right? They try to debunk the Most High by going out there and coming with theories of how this thing happened. See, the Red Sea was parted. First of all, it wasn't the Red Sea. It was this river over here, and the river was only about that high, right? So the wind came down from the north, and when it blew, it was such with a force that, you know, when you blow on a small, it kind of pushes apart. That's what happened, right? That's one of the theories that I heard pertaining to how the Israelites crossed the body of water, in order to prove scientifically how these things happen. It can't be of a power superior to us. It can't be of a miracle. It has to be some type of scientific thing that I can say, yeah, this happened, right? That's what man does. That's why he talks. It's what man thinks. That's why I talks about, we read in the last chapter about Adam, the earthy one, the natural one, right? Remember, we started back in Genesis 12, and I touched on Genesis 11, and how all the people wanted to come together, would speak the same language, and they wanted to build a tower that's going to reach up to the heavens, right? That tower was now going to be able to withstand anything that the Most High was going to try to probably come and do, because remember, he destroyed the earth by water. Well, if I could build something that's high enough, that'll never happen to us. We can withstand, we can survive, right? So this is the thinking of man, to always try to be a step above or beyond the Most High, or beyond his judgment. This is man's thing. And so that's why when the Lord says, if you think carnally, you're going to think like them. You're going to start to get that in you. Even us, the righteous of the righteous, we still have a little bit of that in us. We got to get that out of us. We got to remember to stay kind of humble before the Most High, right? We can't always just, come at them like, yeah, so why is this such and such? It's like, who are you to point the finger and ask a question to the Most High? Right? I could throw a rhetorical question back to you and it'll stunt your growth like it just did Edras. Right? And then now, after you've humbled yourself, all right, now let's converse. Let me break down to you some of the things or the reasons of why this is happening this way. Right? And as we go, he's still going to be anxious to have certain things happen, but the Most High is going to check him along the way. So now, read verse 11 again. How should thy vessel then be able to comprehend the way of the highest, and the world being now outwardly corrupted, just like it was before, to understand the corruption that is evident in my sight? So this is to now, the Most High is going to articulate why he's allowed the sin to happen, right? Why it's still festering. Why is it still going in his sight? Right? Because people have asked, well, if God is so powerful, why he just didn't?
Why he didn't take care?
Yeah, why he just saying he can stop it when he want to stop it.
Right.
He can eradicate the sin when he want to eradicate the sin, but it's still here, right? So that's what he's going into, to understand the corruption that is evident in my sight. Why is this corruption? Why is this sin evident in the Most High sight. Why are these heathen ruling and in your favorite place, right? So this is now the question back to Edras to now try to get an answer. Good boy, you had your hand up? Oh, okay. Verse 12, then said I unto him, it were better that we were not at all, that we should live still in wickedness and to suffer and not to know wherefore, right? So look where he go with it. This is Edras. So Edras is like, look, I hear that. Man, he's saying, look, we shouldn't, it was better we weren't even born. It's better we might have just been dead to have to go through all this. Right. I'd rather die. I'd rather just be still like, and someone else kind of said the same thing. Let me go to that real quick. Job. J-O-B. Job, the 3rd chapter. Yeah. And so this is Job 3:1. It said, after this opened Job his mouth and cursed his day, right? So when you read the previous chapter, this is when the Most High allows Satan to go and torment Job, right?
3rd chapter what?
3rd chapter of Job, 1st verse. So he went and tormented Job, first by dealing with his family, killed his children and all of that, his cattle, right? Then he went and physically tormented Job in his body, right? So now he's going through hell, right? So Job says here, after this, Job opened Job his mouth and cursed his day. And Job spake and said, let the day perish wherein I was born, and the night in which it was said, there is a man child conceived. So he's again saying, look, I wish I was born. I wish I was dead the day I was born. Okay. So that I would have never had to experience what I'm experiencing right now. Okay. Right? To see the day that I'm seeing or that I'm going through. Right. This is kind of sort of what Edras is going, as Job is just now on a national level. So he's saying, look, it would have been better that we just all died. If we're going to go through this, just Mosai, you should just kill us all. He's speaking on a general level. He's speaking on a national level because he's now seeing the nation in captivity. Right? But he's not understanding what's the end game, what's going to come out of it, right? Like we read before, he kind of touched on it a little bit. There was a wicked root and it was permanent, but to see the fruit that was going to come out of the law, right? The fruit that was going to remain that comes from that. That's hard to see when you're surrounded by so much wickedness and pain and sorrow. You can't see 20, 30, 40 years down the road where it's going to be all great. You living in the now. Right. We got to fast forward and try to persevere, try to endure to get to that goal. But sometimes it's just like so hard. Like I said, you start seeing people just get unjustly murdered and killed and everything else. You're like, dang. That don't even make, some of it is just senseless. It seems like it's just made up. Like when I first heard, I don't know where I was. I don't forget what place, but travel so much. But when I heard that story of the dude getting killed in his own apartment, and I was like, wait, how a cop walk into the wrong apartment and shoot and kill a resident of the apartment? Like, like you sit back and you say to yourself, so you start asking questions like, wait, how did the door open? Right. Like, how she get in? Like, what happened? Like, it don't make sense. Right. And then you hear I seen the video of when after the cop shot him, she's now frantic and everything else based on what she had now done. And then I heard the witnesses saying, well, she was talking about let me in or something like that. And you say to yourself, okay, this right here, this just got to be just clear cut. Like, this woman should have been arrested and just thrown in jail like a regular offender until the time of her thing, right? And,
somebody said the door was locked, and she said that then somebody else said the door was open.
Right.
Which was it?
So this is where I'm going with this, and it's a good thing you said that, because now what happens is somebody got to make sense of it.
Right.
Somebody got to make sense of it to now not put her in that spotlight, like it just looks so crazy. So now you hear, yeah, the door was left ajar, and she went in thinking that was her apartment, right? And then when she went in the apartment, she seen him in the apartment, and then got afraid and shot him, thinking like he's a perp or whatever in the apartment. But then somebody says like, okay, common sense don't come in. Like, don't you know your apartment? Like your sofa looks like that don't look like your sofa. That don't look like the paint on your walls. You ain't buy that TV like that. You ain't got that nightstand. Like something don't look the same for you to just, start wilding out. But then now it's like, okay, we still gotta make sense of it. They're like, oh yeah, they found marijuana in the apartment, right? So the news thing come out, they found marijuana in the apartment. And you're like, wait. I'm like, wait. Oh, here you go. Because that has nothing to do with what had transpired. That has nothing to do, right? Let's just say, let's just say that guy was the kingpin of all kingpins. He had 15 tons of cocaine in his bathroom, right? There was no precedence for them to go into that apartment to know that he had that cocaine for what she went in and did, right? It was not. It was just she went in. So as I'm listening to this and I'm hearing all the little stuff that's coming out, I'm like, oh man, if they get her off, this is crazy, right? So then now as Edras is feeling away, imagine you see this consistently, day in, every month, this one, that one, that one, that one, that one. You start to get despondent. Now you just feel despair. You're like, yo, man, God, man. Now, for people who are not in the truth, yeah, they now I can see that them wanting to take matters into their own hands and do all kind of F the law, and I don't care about nothing. Forget yeah, I get it. But for those that's in the truth, like it tells you in Ecclesiastes, the more you increase in knowledge, the more you increase in sorrow. You start to feel away. So as it's just feeling away, it's like, yo, man, we ain't got no wins. This is crazy. We might just like kill us all and start over, and we be in a righteous state. Like kill us all and let us just grow up in the kingdom. Well, we ain't got to go through this no more, right? So this is kind of what he's trying to express as far as for what he's saying here back in 2nd Edras. So I'm gonna go back to it, 2nd Edras 4 and 12. He said, then said I unto him, the angel Uriel, it were better that we were not at all than that we should live still in wickedness and to suffer and not to know wherefore. Right? So it's better that we were never, that we ain't here to consider going through this and not know what the heck is going to happen. Like never know what's this all about. Verse 13. He answered me and said, I went into a forest, into a plain, and the trees took counsel. Right? So now he's going to give him like a little parable to try to make him understand what's happening here. It says, and said, come, let us go make war against the sea, that it may depart away before us, and that we may make us more woods. Right? So this is the wood, the tree is saying to the one of the other ones to go and make war to take over the sea, the waters. Verse 15. The floods of the sea also in like manner took counsel and said, come, let us go up and subdue the woods of the plain, that there also we may make us another country. Right? So they thinking the same thing on the other side. Right? Verse 16, the thought of the wood was in vain, for the fire came and consumed it. Verse 17, the thought of the floods of the sea likewise to naught, for the stand stood up and stopped them. So what they had intended to go and do, they didn't consider that there was something to go and prevent them anyway, right? That was not going to happen in any case, right? But now it gives a little bit more. Verse 18, if thou wert judged now betwixt these two, whom wouldest thou begin to justify? On whom wouldest thou condemn? Right? Who would you say had a better plan than the other, or his was just stupid? Verse 19, I answered and said, verily it is foolish, it is a foolish thought that they both have devised. For the ground is given unto the wood, and the sea also have his place to bear his floods. Right. Meaning they have been set in their own space in order to deal with the things that they are needed to deal with. Remember, the Most High puts everything in its proper order. Right. He has everything in a perfect cycle circuit. So let them deal with what they need to deal with. Let them do what they need to deal with. When the time comes, it'll come. It'll happen. They don't need to go above and beyond their own will.
Right. Stay in their own area.
Verse 20. Then answered he me and said, thou hast given a right judgment, but why judgest thou not thyself also? Right? So this is almost the same thing that the Most High did with, I think, David when you read in Samuel's, right? He gave him a parable about something totally different to have him come back and look at himself in the same manner, right? So, you know, if you know me, sometimes I like to always speak in examples, right? Like I like to speak in examples. This is what the Most High is doing. He's giving him an example about something else, but it really he's talking about himself, right? But he just can't see it. So he's making a judgment about that, but the judgment now needs to be looked in the mirror and come back to himself. So that's why he's saying, why didst not now judge thyself also? Verse 21, for like as the ground is given unto the wood and the sea to his floods, even so they that dwell upon the earth may understand nothing but that which is upon the earth. And he that dwelleth above the heavens may only understand the things that are above the height of the heavens, right? So you trying to comprehend, or you trying to reach into heavens and understand or conquer what's up here. You ain't conquered down here yet.
Okay.
You got to deal with what's here before you can think you can come up here and conquer and be on this level, right? So again, now this is the humbling stage.
Running like this.
This is because remember when they asked him, the angel asked him directly, "Can you comprehend the way of the Most High?" What did he say?
Say yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it to you.
Right. So the Most High now had to give them to him in different manners. Okay. He gave him the questions. The questions wasn't that good. He talking about he want to go and kill him. He want everybody to die. So then he had to come in this manner. Yeah. And then he said, "Look, that thought is foolish. It's a foolish way of thinking." And the Most High is like, "You're absolutely right. But why you ain't thinking about yourself? Because you foolish as hell right now too. You foolish as I don't know what, thinking the way in which you're thinking." Right. So now it says, verse, then answered I, beseech, Lord, let me have understanding. Right. So it wasn't now that what he presented to him as far as for the way of the Most High and the way of man, now he has to realize that you can't, as man, step into the realm of the Most High without the Most High giving that to you. Right. Man can't have that on his own. It tells you in Ecclesiasticus, the first chapter, first verse, write this down. Ecclesiasticus. No, I'm sorry, not Ecclesiasticus. Wisdom of Solomon. No, I was right the first time. Ecclesiasticus, Sirach. 1 and 1.
It's in the Bible, right?
In the Apocrypha. Ecclesiasticus chapter 1, verse 1. Ecclesiasticus 1 and 1. So it says, all wisdom cometh from the Lord and is with him forever. Right? All wisdom coming from the Lord. Right. So what does that do? That takes that out of the hand of the power of man. Right? Don't think that if something Most High is able to reveal something to you or through you or by you, that it's you. Right? That's what sometimes people do. If the Most High is able to let you bring out some information or have you seen a vision or have you now come to understand a breakdown, and now you have been blessed to give that and you bring that out, don't take ownership of that. Okay. That's not yours. That's from the Most High. All wisdom coming from the Most High and to dwell with him. He give it to who he chooses to give it so that they can go and do what? Pass that on. But now I hear these days where people say, well, who you learn that from? Well, you want me to give a brother name that taught me? You want me to get that brother name that taught me that? Because I can give you a whole bunch of different brothers who taught me different things at different times, right? Some is still in the truth, some is not. But I understand that all wisdom comes from the Most High. Most High gave it to him. Ecclesiasticus. 1 and 1. Right? So that's the thought process. That comes from that realm up there, and that's how we receive it down here. It says, reading on, who can number the sand of the sea and the drops of rain and the days of eternity? So it's the same type questions that Edras was given. Like, who can do these things? Who going to number the sand of the sea? Who going to give you the days of eternity? Just look at the phrase, the days of eternity. Eternity is infinite. Right. Who can number that, right? The Most High is on that level. Then it says, who can find out the height of heaven and the breadth of the earth and the deep and wisdom? Wisdom had been created before all things, and the understanding of prudence from everlasting. The word of God, Most High, is the fountain of wisdom, and her ways are everlasting. To whom have the root of wisdom been revealed, or who have known her wise counsel? Right? So it's letting you know who has now been able to understand these things. So this is what Ezra's now is being kind of humble to realize, you know what, Dag, I was a little bit too went too far. Yeah, all right, you're right. I ain't on that level. I'm not on the Most High's level. You're begging now, can you show me what that is? Can you tell me what that is? Please, just let me know. Okay. Because I don't know. I was a little bit too far with it, but all right, you got me. I was foolish myself. Can I comprehend this? Can I understand this? Right? That's what he's saying. So that was Ecclesiasticus chapter 1, and I read all the way down to 7. Yeah. So now going back to 2 Edras 4. Where I leave off at? Let me read 22 again, the water. It said, then answered I and said, I beseech thee, O Lord, let me have understanding. Right? Not that he has it, but let me have understanding. Right. Verse 23. For it was not my mind to be curious of high things, but of such as pass by us daily. Namely, wherefore Israel is given up as a reproach to the heathen. And for what cause the people whom thou hast loved is given over unto ungodly nations, and why the law of our forefathers is brought to naught, and the written covenants come to none effect. Right? So this is where this is the gist of his emotion. Right? I want to know about all the things that we deal with on a daily basis. Why are we given to the heathen? Why the laws of naught? And the covenant you gave with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob seems to be gone. Right? That's what he's saying. Okay. Verse 24. And we pass away out of the world as grasshoppers, and our life is astonishment and fear, and we are not worthy to obtain mercy. Right? So grasshoppers come and go. You see a grasshopper on a thing, it may live a short life. Go and eat some grass and some vegetables and stuff, and all of a sudden, boom, it's gone. That's how our lives are still today, right? Shot down like, oh man, he gone too soon. He was only 22. He didn't even live a full life. 18, 28, right? Shot down, taken like that, right? Why are we subject to this type of behavior? It says, verse 25, what will he then do unto his name whereby we are called? Of these things have I asked, right? And then the Most High put his name on us, Yasha Allah, Prince of the Power, Prince of the Most High. So you was talking about Allah, right? They call his name Allah, and I said that word just means the power, because you have Yasha Allah. He is a Prince of the Most High, power, right? So this is what he's saying. Look, your name is on us. What's going to happen with that? Right? You want your name to be tarnished out there by all this is going on? No. So let's read on. Verse 26. Then answered he me and said, the more thou searchest, the more thou shalt marvel. For the world hasteth fast to pass away. and cannot comprehend the things that are promised to the righteous in time to come. Right. For this world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities, right? Right. So he's like, when you start to put it in perspective, you're going to marvel at what has transpired and where we at in my timeline of things to happen or things to come. Verse 28, but as concerning the things whereof thou asked me, I will tell thee. For the evil is sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come. Right? So evil is sown. There is a wicked root. It's still in existence. But that destruction of that evil root to get that out of the heathen, that ain't here yet. It ain't come yet. It's going to come, but it ain't here yet. Right? So, of course, someone who's desiring to understand the way of the Most High, you're going to hear that and be like, yeah, we done went through a lot, but that great destruction ain't come yet. Your next thing is going to be, well, when is it? When? Because I'm trying to see if we're going to come out of this. When is it going to come? Right? Verse 29. If therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, and if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, then cannot it come that is sown with the good. Right? So granted, all this stuff here is this evil wickedness. Yeah, it's here. But it has to be fulfilled in its time so that you can get the fruits that come after that later, right? Remember, if you go to Luke, I think it's Luke. Luke. Give me 1 second. Luke 21, I was right here. Luke 21 and 24. Yep. So Luke 21:24. So Luke 21:24. This is the Yahweh prophesying about the destruction of Jerusalem, right? During what was going to happen during the time of 70 AD. What was going to happen to Israel, the city of David and everything else, and the people. So it says in Luke 21:24, it says, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive into all nations. The they is Israel, right? Talking about specifically the southern kingdom, but the northern kingdom had their own fate. So we was going to be led into all nations. That's why we're talking about earlier. There's some in Germany, and some in France, there's some over here, few in Japan. We led into all nations after now leaving from out of Jerusalem during this time period, right? I think she wanted to just give the mail. Somebody get that mail from Uncle Bar. It says, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. What is that saying? What is that talking about? I'm going to read it again. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. What is that saying?
It's saying Jerusalem will be taken over by the Gentiles until their time is up. And we get it back after their time is up.
Right. In the time, yeah. Time. He just read the thing. When you're going to come, that's when it's going to happen. Not again.
Right. So from the time of Jerusalem's destruction in 70 AD, right, the Gentiles was going to come over and take it over, right? And Yahushua was letting us know that it's going to be trodden. Like you read in Isaiah, it says our homeland is a desolation. It's going to be trodden down by the heathen until their time is up or until their time is fulfilled. So what does it mean when it says until their time is fulfilled?
the time the Most High when he's ready for it.
Kind of, yeah, you on the right path. But go ahead. Somebody else?
Yeah, like you said, you know, the Lord gave them a certain amount of time to reign in Jerusalem.
Well, he gave the house Shah, gave him the word, and let him take care. So when that time is ready, that's when the house Shah will come and come.
Right. So I'm gonna take your first comment. I'm gonna take his comment that he just made. Right. Until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled, meaning the same way the Most High has prophecies concerning us until the time we get to our glory, the Most High has prophecies concerning the other nations. Right. Those other nations have to go through all of the things the Most High said they would do. Okay. So even while the heathen is now, you know, having control of the land, right, there's other, according to their prophecies, that war got to happen. That wickedness got to happen. That's going to now connect to this thing, and they connect to this. So certain things connect to each other. You can't have this happen without that happening, and that's still all under their rulership. So while we're now observing what's happening in wickedness, there's still a chain of events that has to happen until the time of the Gentiles be. Certain things have not happened yet. Okay. Right? The prophecies that you read about in Ezekiel and Jeremiah, certain things pertaining to the heathen have not transpired. So you can't look and say, well, why are we still here? Well, if the Most High's word don't go out void, that still didn't happen yet. Right. This got to happen here. Right. That got to happen here. Right? So now we have to be cognizant of what he has put in motion. Not just what I want, right? Because you know, sometimes a little kid, when you're a kid and you want something and your parents may have it for you, or you know they got it for you, and you're just anxious. You can't wait. When am I going to get it? When am I going to get it? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Right? You keep asking, are we there yet? Boy, calm down. Right. We're going to get there when we get there. Stop asking me every 5 minutes.
Well, I'm gonna give it
yeah, well, I'm going to give it to you, all right? Right? Go on.
Like a child goes into the store.
Tell one Israel, tell one elder. So when does the 144,000 come in?
The 144,000 comes in right now because it's the building. It's the building of the 144,000. So if we look at both sides, the same thing how we just read Luke 21:24, as far as for the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So the Gentiles has prophecies and things to fulfill. Then on the righteous side, we have things to fulfill. So as the Most High, as Yahweh said, hey, I'm gonna bring forth many fishers, right? So we're in the fishing season right now still, where you got to have brothers who come in, who learn this truth, and then go out there and fish, teach, speak, breathe, so that now you can get from 111,367 to 111,368 to 111,369. Right, so the number is still building while the Gentiles is doing all that stuff that's going on. Right, while the tariffs is happening between China and the U.S. and the different things is going on. The sanctions going on with Iran, and they now saying, well, we're going to do this, and North Korea is saying, yeah, I ain't going to spend, but I'm gonna go and still build up this. And you looking like, yo, they still wilding out over there. Yeah. But while they wilding out over there, we still building the nation over here. Right, we ain't finished building our stuff up. We didn't get the 144,000 yet. The Most High is very, concise and precise in how he's organized and done everything. Where, you know what, this can't happen for that. But when that gets there, it's going to be around the same time this happens. And then boom, everything's going to come to head, right? We just have to be watchful of the things that's given for us to watch. We don't know the 144,000. The earth is grand, right? So now we may say it's 380 in Philly. It's 2,700 in this state. It's 5,000 down in Cancun. It's 6,000 over here. You don't know what that number is. Only thing you know is what's been given to you in your power to know. So you continue to go on doing what you need to do with the faith that the Most High's word is happening. Right. I have that faith that now, look, it's probably 2 brothers down in Costa Rica right now that woke up to help with this number. Right. While they over here wilding, putting, blowing up some other country with some other bomb or something like that. Or while some other brother just got shot and killed unjustly. right? While that's going on, this is still going on too, to get us to the glory, right? That's where the faith comes in, that you don't question or doubt the Most High's tactics on why he's doing certain things, right? We just pray and know that the things that we're doing in righteousness will protect us from those things. That's why our hope and faith is.
That we be of the 144,000
Kun.
working on toward that way.
Kun. Is all right? To Wild Blob, the answer? All right, Kun. It's the same thing when you read in 1 Thessalonians, the 5th chapter, about us not being the children of the night, we're the children of the day, right? So we understand what the Most High has revealed to us to see. That day is not going to take us over like a thief in the night. Things that take people over as a thief in the night is because they're ignorant, right? We know Yahushua coming like a thief, so we prepare for him to come. Those who don't know, they're going to leave their doors unlocked, and the thief going to come in and get them. Right? Or they're gonna leave the window lifted up. Talking about these debris in here. Well, you don't know, there's some people out there that's trying to get in. You don't left the window cracked. You sleep at 2:30. Here they come, and they in. And they done robbed you. Right? We trying to be well protected and well guarded. Just like how during the time of Egypt, when the Most High said, put the blood on your doorposts, because the death angel's coming. If you don't have the blood, you would have gotten killed by the death angel. So we want to have our full armor on so that when Yahushua comes, that we don't get destroyed, because he's coming to kill. That's what the scripture tell you. He's coming to conquer, and he's conquering, right? He's coming to bring justice and judgment. What is the day of the Lord to you that you should desire it? It's what the Most High is saying. Why are y'all all asking for me to come back? Y'all don't know what I'm about to do when I come back, do you? You don't know what I'm going to do. Yeah, you ain't gonna get what you're asking for.
You don't want that.
Not at all, right? That's why it tells you when Yahushua come back, there's gonna be wailing. It ain't gonna be what people perceive it to be. There's gonna be some mourning and wailing of people, not just of the heathen. Also, it's gonna be for even some of our own people, because they're gonna look up and be like, "Well, who the heck is that? Oh, that's not my Jesus."
They ain't gonna believe it.
And they're gonna feel the wrath of the real one, right?
Or just like the blood on the door. You know what I mean? Like they didn't believe it, and the death angel came through. Like you said.
So let's continue on. 2nd Edras 4. Leave off at. You've been on point. Oh, no, he knocked out. 2nd Edras 4. And yeah, verse 30, you're on point. It says, for the grain of evil seed have been sown in the heart of Adam from the beginning, and how much ungodliness have they brought up unto this time, and how much shall it yet bring forth unto the time of the threshing? Ponder now by thyself how great fruit of wickedness the grain of evil seed have brought forth. That one seed that stemmed from Adam and Eve has now multiplied into all that we have right now in the day. All of that came from one transgression, right? That now has multiplied itself. So it says, ponder about all of that, right?
And evil came in.
Right.
With his lineage.
Verse 32. And when the ears shall be cut down, which are without number, how great a floor shall they fill? When they're talking about the ears, what is it talking about? When it says the ears shall be cut down. Yeah, but what is the ears? What is when he's talking about ears, what is he actually talking about? Because it's not just the heathen, but not the people, not the parable. What is it when he says the ears shall be cut down? What are ears that's cut down? Corn, crops. You're absolutely right. So now he's relating people to the crops, right? Remember, Yahushua talked about too, when the harvest is come, right? I'm going to fill my barn with this, and then all of the tares is going to be thrown into the fire, right? So yeah, he's always, the Most High is coming back to our natural occupations that we had. We were farmers and shepherds and things of that nature. So the parables always relate to that. So that's why he says when the ears now get cut down, right? When the ears shall be cut down, which are without number, how great of floor shall they be. Meaning, all this wickedness that's going on,
Right.
those are the ears that's going to be cut down.
Okay.
Consider how many people going to have to die.
Bible.
Consider how much people going to have to be judged.
Oh, man.
So if he's sitting there looking at how great a wealth they got right now and how good they got it,
Right.
think about the judgment that's going to come to them and even those within Israel that's giving themselves over to that,
Okay.
right?
When
Put it in that perspective.
That went over on that side.
Exactly. It says in verse 33, then I answered and said, how and when shall these things come to pass? Wherefore are our years few and evil, right? So now he's like, word, how that's going to happen? When is it going to happen? Right? So now he's bought in. Now he's like, oh, snap. All right, he's dropping some gems on me. Okay, now I need some more timelines, Most High. Like, when, give me the yeah, he's trying to, and the Lord said he was going to give him the answers to his questions. It's just now him getting the right questions to the Most High instead of the other ones that he was coming with. See, the first question that the way he was coming wasn't right. Now he's humbled himself and is asking a little bit more tangible, pointed questions to things that was in his grasp to give him from the Most High. So it says again, verse 33, then I answered and said, how and when shall these things come to pass? Wherefore are our years few and evil? 34. And he answered me, saying, do not hasten above the Most Highest, for thy haste is in vain to be above him, for thou hast much exceeded, right? So he didn't even say explicitly about the haste to have these things happen. The Most High knows his spirit. Because as you read further on in the chapter, that's going to be the spirit of Edras to try to quicken the pace so we can get to that point, right? Say, get to the kingdom, right? Which is a natural occurrence. Don't we all do? Like, man, I wish the king was here sooner rather than later. Right, man. We can get past this, man. Right? When Yahushua resurrected, they say, oh, we're going to get the kingdom now? Most Yahushua? And he's like, nah, it's not for me to let you know when that's going to happen right now. I don't know the day. I don't know the day. But the Most High gives you signs to give you time period, right? So it says on verse 35,
Right.
did not the souls also of the righteous ask question of these things in their chambers, saying, how long shall I hope on this fashion? When cometh the fruit of the floor of our reward? So as Edras is asking, is living on the earth.
Right.
Uriel is saying, this what the spirits do all day long in the heaven.
Okay.
Right? An example is that in Revelations, 6th chapter, the book of Revelation. So now this is going to be almost the same thing in two different time periods given to two different prophets. Revelation 6 and 9. Yeah. Revelation 6 and 9. So Revelation 6 and 9 says, and when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God and for the testimony which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? Right? So these are spirits that have died already in the spirit world. And they petitioned to the Most High. How long is this going to be? How long is it that they're going to continue to live like that down there? When is we going to get vengeance, Most High?
Oh, man.
Listen to what it says, verse 11. And white robes were given unto every one of them, and it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season, until their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they were should be fulfilled. So now check this out. So here it is. You got spirits that's already up there in the heavens, waiting for the time to come when they're going to get their glory, right? When the judgment is going to come. But Yahweh is like, hold on. You're going to get your glory. You're going to get your, I'm giving you white robes. You're going to get it, right? Don't worry. You going to make it. But it ain't finished yet. Others got to go through their own thing. Others have to go out there and fulfill their judgment, their will, right? And then after that has been fulfilled by your fellow brethren, then that time will come. That's why when I was talking to Wab Lab, I'm like, listen, there's two sides of this. There's what is the heathens going to be doing. So the heathen going to go out there and they're going to be doing all kind of wickedness still until their time be fulfilled, until their sin has reached the height of heaven. Then on the other side, we also have had to go through our trials and tribulations. So now this is John the Revelator, right, on the island of Patmos, who's now here getting that vision of what's going on in the heaven. So he's now, this was 1,000 years ago. So there still had to be other brothers that had to come in the earth who had to do their testimony and had to go through their trials and tribulations in order to fulfill their destiny before the end comes, right? Before the end comes. So Yahushua wasn't the only one who died in righteousness. The 12 wasn't the only one who died in righteousness. The Maccabees weren't the only ones who died in righteousness. You had other men that would come in the earth in their times, in their seasons, in their generations, who testified and who advocated for the Most High Yahushua, who died in righteousness. They had to fulfill their glory in the earth, or their will in the earth, right?
So right here, verse 11, right, giving everyone, so he's been judged already. Does he say, like you say? That's how I'm up there. He's been judged already. These people with the white robes on.
These people, when you read it, because it's the same thing that we read in here in Edras. It's the same thing that we read here in Revelation. So what that's showing you is that this is the common theme of what has happened with the righteous spirits since we've been going on with this nation. That those who died in righteousness are petitioning how long this is going to happen. Ezra's on the earth asking this. You're saying they already doing that in the heavens with the Most High there, right? So, but the Most High knows what? The spirits. He knows the spirits. He created the spirits. So he knows, let's say Job, right? Because I tell you in the Old Testament, Job, Noah, and Daniel, they're going to receive their righteousness. It's already done. Most High knows those spirits because he created them. Right. Right. No, I wouldn't even say they've been judged by God. Their judgment has already by the Most High. Right? That's what that is. Their judgment has been set. Just like how, you know, Jeremiah, I had already ordained you to go be a prophet. Most High already set the bounds of what that spirit was going to do. So now these spirits, the Most High already knows. We don't know, but the Most High knows the spirit that's in this man, he's going to receive his righteousness. He's going to get the glory. He's written in my book, right? John is written in my book. James is written in my book. However, James could be sitting right here, but James don't know that he James. Or James could be sitting over there in Atlanta. He don't know that he James. Or Noah could be sitting somewhere. He don't know that he Noah, but he's out there doing righteousness. The Most High already knows. Noah is written in the book. He got his white robe already set, right? But you got to wait for the others to now do what they need to do in their time, right? So that was right. So, but the last key on that last piece, the last key you hope, the last key in that last piece is, the last piece is should be fulfilled. That it has to be fulfilled. Hold on. So y'all follow what I just mentioned, right?
What was that last statement?
The last statement, the last statement that I made was to pay attention to that. The reason why I went there is because the last precept in verse 11 said should be fulfilled, right? This is the whole point of what the Most High is trying to articulate to Edras, is that things have to be fulfilled in their time according to the Most High's timetable. You can't rush the Most High. You can't hasten the Most High. Granted, I know we all want the kingdom faster than when the Most High is doing it, but it's going to come when the Most High determines it. Right? We can't push the Most High. We can't, you know, give him pay him off or something and say, hey, if I give you this, or if I do this, will you cut down the years? No, right? The Most High already has determined his will.
It's on the time schedule.
So on his own time schedule. So that's Revelation 6:9 to 11. So let's go back to second Edras.
11, right?
Yeah, to 11. Let's go back to second Edras. We have the 36 verse now. So this is second Edras 4 and 36.
Right.
It says, and unto these things Uriel the archangel gave them answer and said, even when the number of seeds is filled in you, for he have weighed the world in the balance. The same thing we just said. The Most High has now put or determined putting different spirits in the earth and weighed them in the balance based on his own timetable, right? It says, by measure have he measured the times, and by number have he numbered the times. And he doth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled, right? He don't take anything out of his place until this thing happens. He puts some here, he puts some there. This has to wait upon that. And once this is fulfilled, then he can then act upon this. This is how the Lord has put everything in a balance, in perspective. Verse 38, then answered I and said, O Lord, that bearest rule, even we are all full of impiety. And as for our sakes, peradventure, it is that the floors of the righteous are not filled because of the sins of them that dwell upon the earth. So he's like, look, even we, Israel, we got some wickedness in us. Maybe we not all fulfilled yet. Maybe we ain't get, of course we ain't there yet. Right? But he's now trying to, you know, gain and push and gain a little bit more. It's maybe we ain't.
Maybe we ain't all right.
Yeah, maybe we ain't there. We ain't fulfilled yet, right? So it says, verse 40, he says, so he answered me and said, go thy way to a woman with child and ask of her when she have fulfilled her 9 months, if her womb may keep the birth any longer within her, right? So when you now look at something that needs to be born or needs to come into the earth, compare that to a woman that has a child, right? Now, after 9 months, them contractions going to start happening. Well, 9 times out of 10, when that happens, she don't want to keep the baby in anyway. She's trying to get the baby out. But can she hold it back any longer? No. It's going to come when it's going to come.
Automatically.
Exactly. You got people who say they've been in labor for 36 hours. Right? Some mothers be like, they've been in labor for a long period of time. Others would say, hey, baby came right out. Right? Who's to determine that but the Most High to say, hey, I'm going to allow this to come out. The baby going to be born at this time. Right? You can think that man has control of certain things, but the Most High is going to allow a baby or something to come into the earth when he wants it. You can think that man has control over death. No, the Most High is going to take that spirit back when he wants to. Man may say, yeah, he pulled the trigger, but it's the Most High allowing Satan or whatever to allow him to pull that trigger because his time was up anyway. Not of man's will, is of the Most High's will. And everything we do, this was Moses' problem, right? The Most High said Moses couldn't go into the land. He said, because you didn't sanctify my name, you didn't sanctify me in the people. You got to let them know this is me. This ain't you. This ain't everybody on it, but this is me. So whatever you speak about things that happen, you make sure you give all the glory and praise to the Most High. Right? That's why he couldn't step foot in Israel, because he said he didn't sanctify them in Israel. You got to sanctify the people with the Most High Spirit continually so that they now feel like we read in Ecclesiasticus, all wisdom comes from the Most High. Whatever it is I get, I'm going to thank the Most High. Got a new job. Thank the Most High that he allowed me to get that job. For whatever spirit that he put on that employer or that interviewer, he was allowable, lenient to give me the position, right? The Most High. Thank the Most High for allowing me to receive this or that. That way, you don't get above and beyond yourself. You don't forget the Most High, because that's a seed. That's a seed of that's a wicked spirit that can fester. When you don't really give the Most High his props, or when you get anything and you don't give him his praise, you start thinking, yeah, you start getting puffed up, thinking I did it. I got this. Some people in Israel have that same spirit. That's like when they start, like we was talking about word knowledge and things, it says knowledge puffeth up. So somebody can get up here and be like, yeah, I just broke down the Ezra the 3rd chapter. And somebody said, that was a good breakdown. The water, brother, the water, right? And you sitting there and you like, yeah, I did break that down kind of nice, but I did do that, right? And you walk out of here
thinking like
that. Not only thinking like that, but not giving it the praise from the Most High. I mean, thank the Most High, I'm just a vessel, right? All praise go to the Most High. Barak Yahweh Shah, right? So that is a spirit that the Lord is now also teaching us as we go along. Why haven't we gotten there yet? Why haven't we received the kingdom yet? There's the same kind of concept of the wax on, wax off mentality that you've seen in Karate Kid, right? Karate Kid didn't know that he was being taught while he was waxing on and waxing off. He hated it.
Right.
He hated it for a long time until Miyagi had to say, all right, hold on. Let me show you something. And he started doing it. And he was like, yo. And it was just instinctive. But he didn't realize he had to go through those hard times of complaining and this, that, and the third to get to that point. That's the same, that's the same thing with Israel, where we now going through the hard pains of life. We going through the hard pains of life. And we, through the midst of the storm, we waxing on and we waxing off, right? So as we complaining and we upset and everything else, we still using the spirit to maneuver, to endure, to get by, to make righteous decisions, to adhere, to obey, to adhere, to uplift, to admonish. We're doing all of that. And then when we get to a certain point, you're like, Dad, I done came a long way. I used to be a knucklehead in the past. Look what I didn't even realize I did that. I didn't realize the Most High taught me that. I didn't realize I knew those verses like that. I didn't understand that before, but somehow I got it because we've been going through the wax on, wax off period. And now at a certain point, you're able to exercise and realize what you received over time. All right. So this is kind of what the Lord is saying. That baby got to come forth in its time amidst the storm. You can't hold back when the Most High wants to deliver it, but it's going to come in a dispensation of time. All right. So let's go back to this again. What did I read off? What did I leave off on? 40. So he answered me and said, go thy way to a woman with child and ask of her when she hath fulfilled her 9 months, if her womb may keep the birth any longer within her. Verse 41. Then said I, no, Lord, that can she not. And he said unto me, in the grave, the chambers of the souls are like the womb of a woman, right? Chambers of the soul. We're talking about up there in the heavens, right? So it's, again, when we talk about reincarnation, right? When the first spirit dies, it goes up to the Father. Then after a period of time, it got to come back down in the earth, right? So those spirits that got to come and fulfill their destiny come back when the moment that comes back down, right? So it's just like a baby that's being born. It says, for like as a woman that travaileth maketh haste to escape the necessities of the travail, even so do these places haste to deliver those things that are committed unto them. Who committed them? The Most High, right? And he's going to say, hey, that person got to be born over here. That person going to be born over here. That person going to be born in LA. That person going to be born down in Venezuela, over in Peru, over in France, over here. The Most High is going to deliver those souls when the fulfillment, when the 9 months is up, right? The 9 months is just a, an allegory to showing you when you come into the earth, right? And then you fulfill the prophecies of the destinies of the Most High. It says, verse 43, from the beginning, look, what thou desirest to see, it shall be showed thee. Then answered I and said, if I have found favor in thy sight, and if it be possible, and if I be meet, therefore, show me then whether there be more to come that is past, or more past that is to come, right? So he like, all right, I get it. I get it. All right, show me something. Let me know something. Pretty much what he's saying is, do we got a long way to go? Or do we got a short way to go? Right? From the beginning, right? Because it says, from the beginning, look and desires to see what it is to be shown thee in verse 43. So he went all the way back to the beginning of Adam's time and all the way led up to now his time there. So now he's trying to go to see if we got way more to go than what we've already been through, or if we've been through a lot and we only have a shorter period to go. Verse 46. What is past, I know. Wait, did I read 45?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Verse 46. What is past, I know, but what is for to come, I know not. Right? Which is self-evident, right?
Right. You don't know.
It says, and he said unto me, stand up upon the right side, and I shall expound the similitude unto thee. So again, he's going to show him something. Like sometimes it says Israel need a sign, right? You need to see certain things to kind of allow you to digest it the right way, right? It says, so I stood and saw, and behold, an hot burning oven passed by before me. And it happened that when the flame was gone by, I looked, and behold, the smoke remained still, right? So he takes a hot oven, it's going by, and it's like, and then he looking at the oven, it's like, yo, it's burning, it's fire and everything else, but then I see the smoke in there. Right, the smoke is just standing still, it's there. Verse 49. After this there passed by before me a watery cloud, and sent down much rain with the storm. And when the stormy rain was past, the drops remained still, right? So he's seeing the storm now go by, like the hot furnace went by, and it was smoke that left behind. This time he's seeing the rain that went past him, the storm, I should say. But then there's drops of rain that stand still, that was still there left, right? It says, verse 50, then said he unto me, consider with thyself, as the rain is more than the drops, and as the fire is greater than the smoke, but the drops and the smoke remain behind. So the quantity which is past did more exceed, meaning there has been more that has happened that is past already, right? What's left is the smaller portion than what's past, right? All the way from the time of Adam up until the time where he was, and then what's left to come is a shorter span of what our torment or what our captivity, what we had to deal through, was going to be in comparison to that, right? So I read that last part again, verse 50. Then said unto me, consider with thyself, as the rain is more than the drops, and as the fire is greater than the smoke, but the drops and the smoke remain behind. So the quantity which is past did more exceed, right? Verse 51. Then I prayed and said, now stop right there. This is why I said in the beginning, when he first went to go talk with the Most High, when he was sleeping on his bed and he felt the way, then it said he went and talked with the Most High. I said when he went in and talked with the Most High, he did what? He went and prayed to the Most High, right? This is how we have our conversation. He prayed. It didn't say pray in the beginning, but that's intuitive. You know that he's praying to the Most High. He's just not going to be walking around. So Most High, I'm asking you this question, like, what's going on right now? Nah, he's not doing that. This is a prayer that he's having. Right. So now it's saying exactly that.
You got to bow down.
Right.
You had to bow down for pray.
Right. Right. So in this case, because when you read later on, the angel comes and goes. Okay. Right. So now as he's considering certain things and time goes by, then he has to go and question the Most High again. I always caution us as readers, that when we're reading the scriptures, when we're reading the Bible, you have to be cognizant of dispensation of time. Because sometimes you'll read it and you're thinking it's just all happening right back to back. No, it's not. So he could be reading it now, and then days may go by, or having that conversation with the angel, and then days go by. Then he comes back and says, oh, I'm thinking, let me go ask him about this. And then now he goes and does it, and then the angel, and then weeks go by. So there's that dispensation of time that sometimes is absent from the mind as the reader. But the Most High, especially in here, when we read later on, it's going to distinctly tell us about the time period. Because it's going to, sometimes you're going to say, listen, all right, go away, go fast or for a week or for 2 weeks, then come back, right? So he's going to let you know that there's been a time period that's transpiring. It's just not one long conversation that Ezra is just sitting there having with the angel. There's breaks in times that's going on and back and forth. So that's why I said when I get to this point, I had to stop, because now we see, he says, what? Then I prayed and said. So now he's praying again in the Most High and says, may I live, thinkest thou, until that time, or what shall happen in those days? right? So what is he asking? I'm going to read it again. Then I prayed and said, may I live, thinkest thou until that time? Or what shall happen in those days? Huh?
Right.
What'd you say?
He's seated in the time.
Right. So he's questioning, is he going to be alive at that point? Is he going to be there to see it? Yeah. Am I going to be there to see it? Right. Because you know, this is, and him understanding the dispensation of time and what's still to come, there he knows there's still going to be time, right? Because there's thousands of years that happened since Adam's time up until then. But then it was still going to be periods of time that was going to go past that. He wasn't just going to jump, skip all of that and just get there. So he's like, may I live or will I be alive? Meaning he has the understanding of reincarnation, that his spirit's going to be here in the future to be dwelling on the earth when that period happens. Then it says, right, and then it says, or what shall happen in those days? That's why you know he's fast forwarding to the future of what's going to happen beyond the time. So if I'm not going to be there, right, either I'm going to be there and see it myself, or just tell me what's going to happen. Just give me the visuals. Just give me the nuts and bolts of everything that's going to happen, right? Now check out what the angel says, verse 52. And he answered me and said, as for the tokens whereof thou hast asked me, I may tell thee of them in part. But as touching thy life, I am not sent to show thee, for I do not know it.
You don't know.
So the angel's answer was as a messenger. Remember, the Uriel is just a messenger for the Most High. The Most High is going to give him
what he wanted to give him.
Only what he wanted to give him. Now, check out the answer in that, because this is an angel who stands before the Most High. Right? He's there. One of the 7 archangels of the 4 that's standing there before the Most High. And then he comes back and says, well, the stuff that you just asked me, I give it to you in part, not in full. I'm going to give it to you a little bit, in part of it. And then what you asked me about you, I can't tell you because I don't even know. Right? So there's the scripture when you read in 1 Corinthians, it talks about the glory of the celestial and the glory of the terrestrial. Well, celestial and terrestrial, meaning the celestial are the angels, the heavenly bodies. The terrestrial are those who of us are on the earth, are of the terrain. We're the terrestrial. We have our glory. They have their glory. So now, based on what Uriel just said, as it pertains to you, I don't know. So guess what the angels is also doing? They're watching us. Watching and seeing, we watching and seeing who born in the earth. Oh, Most High sent down his spirit. Wow, let's see what Noah do in this lifetime. And they're watching the spirit. Oh, there's Hezekiah. His spirit is there right now. They're watching from the celestial realm because they haven't been given that knowledge about who's going to be here or not. Like Yahushua wasn't given the knowledge about what the last day is yet until the Most High gives them that knowledge, right? So we see that even with the celestial beings, they don't know everything. Right? Here's Ezra trying to understand and comprehend the way of the Most High, and he tells them about the heavenly bodies and the celestial terrestrial bodies, but all the celestial heavenly bodies don't know everything. Right? So we have to always understand is that the Most High, he's the one that gives all wisdom. He gives it to Uriel and Raphael and Gabriel and Michael and this prophet and that prophet. He gave it to Yahushua to go and speak. And he's the one that's the beholder of all the information. And he gives it how he sees fit to fulfill his will. So as we are now reading what transpired with Ezra, that says, okay, I kind of sometimes think like him, but the beauty of now reading the scriptures, we understand what the Most High likes and doesn't like as it pertains to even conversing with the Most High, right? I can't come away and talking or praying to the Most High, because if I didn't know, I probably would have came and questioned like he did in the beginning. But nah, let me humble myself way more and come and ask the same questions, right? So through his testimony, I learned we learn more.
Okay.
Through his experience, we've learned a bit. Right? Like I said, we learned about even how he prayed, right? How he prayed. He started off giving the Most High props.
Right.
He didn't just knock on the door and say, all right, let me ask you a question. He came in, oh, Father, how you doing? Man, you the supreme being. Like, everything that I have is because of you, Most High. And let me talk about how grateful I am for what you've done and everything else. And then I'm going to get to what it is. I'm going to give you your props first, and then I'll come after, right? That has been a pattern. That has been a pattern through the scriptures. So I've learned from Ezra, I've learned from Deborah, I've learned from other people who've done the same things. And now I see how my prayers can be. Right.
Praising the Most High.
Right.
And then that's why he got a chance to see what he wanted to see.
Right. So his prayer was of knowledge.
Right.
Right. That's what he was praying for, knowledge, information.
Right.
He wasn't praying for health. He wasn't praying for you know, the spiritual gift to be able to speak in, you know, different languages. He wanted knowledge. That's what his prayer is. Okay. Right. Others may have different prayers. You know, I need the ability to get to hear in order to do this. Most High, can you grant me that petition where I have some means of getting there, so that I can do this work? Right. Others need health. I got my chest is limiting me from doing something. So you pray for that. Right. And then the Most High delivers it to you in measure as he sees fit. Right. Because sometimes you need the vessel, the person, the seed needs to experience something before it gets to the reward, before it gets to where it needs to get to. That's his will. And we just have to understand and rely on the trust and favor that the Most High is going to do righteousness, where we try to the best of our ability to exude righteousness. All right, so that's the end of the 4th chapter of 2nd Esdras. Next week, I believe we're in Numbers. I believe we're in Numbers. I want to say Numbers 7 and 8. Numbers 7 and 8. Yes, because I remember required reading about the spirit of jealousy. Last week we did Mark, right?
Mark 3 and 4.
All right.
It should be in your book. Here you go.
What month we in? All right, so 7th month, right? So this is at sundown. Right. So that's right. That's a good segue. That's a good segue of that's a good segue for the follow on. So as we prepare for the Feast of the Tabernacles tonight, right? As we prepare for the Feast of Tabernacles. So first things first, right? And understanding when the holy days come in. Priority. If you don't have a new moon list, get a new moon list. I know if you're on an email distribution, you should have it in your emails. If you don't have it or you're not on email, then we'll print one out for you. The new moon list is important to have. Why? Because it tells you beginning of the months and what else? And then you can get to the high holy days, right? Because you said, who said the answer about what month we in? You asked the question, who get an answer? You did. You just seventh month, right? So now when you go through the calendar and you say, okay, this is the 1st month, we should know what holy days transpire in the 1st month. Passover, unleavened bread is in the 1st month. Then you go to the 2nd month. We should know that what comes in the 2nd month. You say, oh, it's the day of such and such. What you know in the 3rd month, the 4th month, the 5th month, the 6th month, the 7th month, the 8th. You should know the high holy days that come in the month so that you can't be caught off guard. Okay. The only way you caught off guard is you don't know the new moons. If you don't know the new moons, you messed up right from the door, okay, right? Because that's how you determine the high holy days, right? So that's why it's important to get your new moon calendar list, right? Now, for those who may not even have the list in front of them, these are for those who are savvy with the cell phones and savvy on the internet. The same way in which we figure it out, you can either go online to the new moon, the breakdown of the new moons, even in regions. They have it, the new moon for Israel, the new moon for New York, the new moon for Cali when it comes in. Yeah, it's online, right? And then it'll let you know the proximity, the proclamation of the exact time when the new moon comes in, right? So that you can now give a scale. So the reason how we celebrate the new moon at certain times, because the day starts when? At night, in the evening, at sundown, right? So if the new moon comes in at, let's say, 3 p.m. in the afternoon, or 3:23 in the afternoon, right? When does the day begin? The night before, right? So we're not going to say, well, the new moon came in at 3:23 in the afternoon, and then we're going to celebrate it at sundown after the day. Well, that's the next day. So we say, well, if it came in on this day, then we're going to go start from the beginning of the day, when the sun set, right? It happens in that day, so we start at the beginning of the day. So now, if you're in tune with the internet and you know how to go on the sites, if you don't have a piece of paper that gives you the calendar, you can go on and figure it out. And like, all right, well, let me go check for the East Coast. Let me use New York as my guy, because we're all on the same line. Anything that, you know, we have this here, and I could say, okay, for December, let me find out when the new moon comes in December, around in the region of New York, and then it'll say full moon, this crescent, new moon, and they give you the time of the new moon. And you can, based on the time, you can say, oh, it's within this day, I'm gonna start here. Or if it starts at after the sunset, right? That's why they go hand in hand. The sun setting, because the days are determined by the sun rising and set, and then when it comes in for the new moon. Right. So now with that, you got that out the way. Then the high holy days. Then you'll know, okay, memorial blowing the trumpets is the first day. The Day of Atonement is the 10th day. Feast of the Tabernacles is the 15th day, right? Feast of the Tabernacles, Feast of the Passover, and Unleavened Bread, they all happen around the same time, like 2 weeks in to the new moon, right? So we should be cognizant of it. And then knowing what we're going to do on those holy days. Like, what is it that we're supposed to do on the Tabernacles? What happened on the Tabernacles? So the same way Pequod said last week, hey, you should read up on that Edras 3rd and 4th chapter. Don't come in and read it along the first day. You should read it. So now what happens with the high holy day? What's supposed to happen with tabernacles? What happens with tabernacles? Right. So this is the same. This is what I was talking about. Y'all wasn't here at the beginning of the class. No. So no, this wasn't specifically scripture. This was just a vibration in the spirit of, if we Israel, right, and our culture, we should know more so about our culture than Labor Day, Memorial Day, Christmas Day, Thanksgiving, right? So we know that the back of our hand. So the same way we have the initiative to come, now we got to have the initiative to take it to the next level, to say, okay, cool. This is what tabernacles is. Tabernacle. We dwelt in booths in the wilderness, right? The Most High has given us as a memorial of when we came out of the wilderness. We was dwelling in booths. So as a preparation, if you read ahead or have read ahead, you know that the Most High said what? Israel is going to dwell in booths for 7 of the 8 days during the tabernacles. 7 of the 8 days. Now, what does that mean? That you're not, Israel did not dwell after we came out of Egypt, and now we was dwelling in our own homeland. Now we be dwelling in our own houses and places of abode and everything else. When this came around, the Most High said, nah, You're not living in there. You're going to go and dwell in a booth. You're going to build you a booth and you're going to live and sleep there. Right? That's what now the vibration is during that time. So 7 of the 8 days, we came out of our houses and dwelt in a booth right around here in the fall season. Right? Because what they say today was the end of the summer. Right? So this is now that going into that fall high holy day season. So you got one in the spring, you got one in the summer, you got one in the fall, you got one in the winter. Passover in the spring, first fruits in the summer, tabernacles now in the fall, dedication in the winter, right? So you now have a major high holy day in every season. So here during this time, you got to now go out there and somewhat, depending on where you at, because everybody's region is different. You down in Florida keeping the Feast of the Tabernacle, dwelling in booths, it's going to be different from you dealing with it up in Boston or somewhere else where it might be real cold up there, or in Maine or something like that. So you have to just go and deal with it as the Most High has you dwelling where you are. But you dwell in the booth. Now, most of us, we don't have means like that, where we're going to go and dwell in the booth in the yard. Some of us may not have a yard or a field that you're going to go and build a booth because you stand in an apartment or you stand in a house and you don't have that ability. Well, it tells you in Judges 5:11, rehearse the righteous act. So I sent out a WhatsApp message, and I was like, you know what? Because a few years ago, I didn't have my own tent, right? And I'm no better than anybody else. We all have to be able to now progress and abound and do better than what we've done before. So I'm no better than anybody in here that's watching the live stream or listening to a teleconference to try to do better. I'm not saying I'm holier than now. No. So a few years ago, I remember I borrowed a tent from my coworker, right? And he let me borrow the tent, and I went in and I set it up, and I went and I stayed in the tent, right? I was, I did whatever I had to do, but when it came to going and dealing with what I need to do, I went in the tent and slept in the tent. First time breathing the elements. I'm not people who like to go camping and all that. I did it. It was an experience, right? So I was like, yo, this is weird. I'm hearing all kind of sounds and I don't know. I'm kind of a little out of my element, right? So, but that's what the Most High wants us to be aware of. That's what he wants us to experience, because we did it for 40 years. Yeah. We left out of Egypt, even though we was in captivity, we had places to dwell in. Now we in the wilderness, right? Just out there, any other thing will be coming up, right? And you dwelling in the booth. So the Most High has it where he wants you to experience it. But now if you can't go out into if you go on YouTube, you see different camps. They go out to a park or a field, and they go out there and they set up they drive out there, they get their coolers and everything else, and that's beautiful. Then you got others who will do it in their backyard. You got others who will go places. That's beautiful. Now, for those who can't do that, who can't get out there, if you can't, cool, set it up in your apartment. Get a tent, right? You ain't got. I sent out the text message. I seen online Dick's had a sale for tents. They had one for $30, a 3-man tent. Now, I may not be 3-man, 3 people who actually, it's 3-man people like you can lay down in a sleeping bag, 3 of you can get in there. But for $30, that's a good thing to start with. And you set it up in your living room, and then you get out of the comfort of your bed and you go stay in there and say, okay, at least I'm trying. And then the next year, you do a little bit better in your rehearsal of the righteous act. So I understand that, but you now a step further. Remember, it's about your progression in the truth. Because one would say, well, I ain't really experiencing the elements in my living room, so I'm just gonna go sleep in my bed, right? Whereas you could at least say, I'm trying. I could put the tent here and put something down and just sleep under the tent. I ain't seeing my walls. I'm looking at the top of the tent. I'm in a confined space. You can get if you want to, you can get a they got sounds like that, raindrops and all that to put people to sleep. You could do that if you want, right? All I'm saying is for us to try, right? I did it. I think I did it for 1-2 nights before. I tried. Now I'm trying to take it a step further and doing the same thing. Yeah, I'm going to set up in the back of my yard. I went and ordered it online. When I found it, I ordered it, and I sent out the text on WhatsApp to everybody like, yo, they got the sale, 50% off, 60% off. You can go out there and get you a cheap tent, You can go get you a big tent if you want. If you can't set it up outside, or you can't go to your auntie house and say, hey, can I, let me set this up. I'm gonna be coming through every now and again and sleep in the tent. What you doing, boy? Let me explain to you what I'm doing. This is for this is the Most High had us doing. It's like, I don't know what you're doing, but all right, get ahead, right? You can try what it is you can try. So I'm saying, as I'm trying, I want everybody to try to get closer and closer to the Most High in your house. Huh? Yeah. Sleeping bag too, right? You can try and try to. So it's for us to be in that frame of mind, so we can draw closer to our culture, grow closer to our ancestry, because now we're remembering what we went through, and then it puts it in a different perspective, right? Because remember, it says the 7 days. Then on the 8th day, you don't dwell in tents, right? You do it for the 7 days, and the 8th day you come out. So then it becomes a learning experience, right? There's a reason why the Most High is doing this. And then he said on the 8th day, come out the tent, still keep the feast, but you now coming out of the tent on that great day, right? What is this synonymous with? So that's what, the Most High and Yahweh Shai want to articulate to us. So we'll go through more of the scriptures tonight. Lord's will, we'll be streaming live again. Zakar.
Before we came in here, we missed the verses.
Yeah, you said you wanted a photocopy of it, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Come on. I just get a photocopy. I'm not sure. I didn't check online. I don't have the chat up. So those, again, for those that's listening and watching, if you're on a live stream, and if you have the chat, as I've seen before, and I was overseas, I've seen people be posting chats. If you're watching the service, please, somebody start, trying to get back to that and posting the verses up in the chat for those that come in off after the fact, so that we can get them, or those that come after can get them. All right. So again, try to dial in or log on somewhere around 9:30 tonight. We're going to try to get out of here at a good time to get back, so we can prepare, so we can meet up at the hotel tonight. But we will be on the live stream. We will be on the teleconference line for those that want to dial in and celebrate with us. All right. And also for those who may not, keep in mind that this is a feast week, as it was explained earlier. Starts this Saturday night. It is still a Sabbath, meaning you can't go out and buy and shop and party and do the normal things on the Sabbath day, but you can cook and feast. It is an 8-day feast, meaning that when it comes, and we don't have to be a regular Sabbath day, which we normally would not cook, you will be able to cook, because it is a high holy day feast week of 8 days. Okay. All right. So then you are now able to cook your breakfast on Saturday mornings if you're home and you're not here, or your lunch and kindle a fire and fry up, barbecue, whatever it is, because it is a feast week. And if somebody asks you and be like, well, hold on, you don't break your own commandment because you don't tell me you don't cook on the Sabbath. I see you cook on the Sabbath. Well, it's a high holy day today. It is a high holy week. It is the feast of the tabernacles. This is the feast of the unleavened bread. It is the feast of the rededication of the altar. We are permitted or commanded by the Most High to do such and such, right? It overrides the regular Sabbath because it is a high holy day feast. Right. So this day and the last day is when we come together. Start Saturday night. Same thing next week, Saturday night. But next week, Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, which is still the 7-day Sabbath. No shopping for regular carnal things, going to get your, sneakers and jackets and everything to go. No, do that, plan ahead of time, but then you will be able to cook and do certain things. Right. All right. So with that, we're going to end the Sabbath service. The water for those that listened in, Most High's will, you were able to get all the notes, get all the breakdowns. If not, like I said, those who are connected with each other, dial up, call up, text message, and see if others can provide you the link ups if you did not receive them all. All right. Stay tuned for the closing prayers. And Shalom Yasha Allah.
Shalom.
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 Somebody get the blinds.
Wow.
Are you on the bar? Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Asherah, Natalanawa, Par Yahagabin, Tawada Amun, La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Ath, Yasha Allah. English translation. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives to us the fruit of the vine. Thank you, so be it. To Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, with Israel. I Madwa Punyawal Yerushalayim, stand and face Jerusalem. Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Baba Kushah, Shammai, Lanawa, Aitha, Yum Yun, Aitha, Shalat, Mayaka Allah, Waha Alahayim, Tazwadakim, La, Shamal Al, Barat, Barat, Rapa, Magun, Wahakazayat, Bunya, Yasha Allah, Washalat, Lanawa, Rabium, Kakama, Rabium, Da'ai, Rabium, Bayana, Rabium, Sabalanwa, Rabium, Amawan, Rabium, Aqua, Rabium, Ahabium, Rabium, Agana, Rakhanaya, Wasalat, Kal, Kata Ayamnawa, Lahaakim, Wa'akiwa, Wayasha'ala, Thumyad, Waiwalam, Bahasham, Yahawashai, Thawada, Amun. English translation. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, please listen to us now, right now. Send Michael and the righteous powers of angels to watch over, bless, heal, protect, and make strong the children of Israel. And send to us much wisdom, much knowledge, much understanding, much patience, much faith, much brotherhood, much love, much spiritual protection. And forgive all our sins for the brothers in Israel and always and forever. So like for the brothers and sisters in Israel and always and forever. In the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you. So be it. Work on this prayer. Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Barak Nawa, Wayasha Allah, Wabatha Saparium, Shema, Yasharallah, Yahweh, Allah, Yahweh, all right. So again, we say Shalom Yasharallah. Most High's will hear or see you tonight during the feast. Shalom. Ashar Shabbat.